What's up, airplane collectors? Welcome to Model Airplane Review. It's your host Ray. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the NG Model 1-400 scale Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-800 in the Tennessee 1 special livery. This video is being made at the request of one of my subscribers. If you see a model in my collection that you would like me to review that I have not reviewed yet, feel free to comment that down below, and I will get the review started as soon as I can. A list and database of all of my die-cast model aircraft in both 1-400 scale and 1-200 scale is linked in the description as well, so feel free to check that out. In this video, I'll talk about the box, then the model itself, and at the end of the video, I will give my opinion about what I think of the model and whether or not I recommend it to other collectors. Starting off with the box is the standard NG Model 737 box at 13 centimeters lengthwise and height-wise, and 3.5 centimeters wide. I'll show you around the box now, so here's the front. Bottom, right side, top, left side, and the back side. Once you open up the box, you get the model fully painted, assembled, and ready to go, and a Collector Rewards Program card, which is the color blue. Bit of an update about this program actually. NG Model has recently announced that they are in the final stages of development of this Collector Rewards Program card here, and soon we will be able to redeem these for credit with NG Model, so this should be pretty interesting. And here's the model itself. Before I begin the review, I'm going to give you a quick 360 of the model to show you around, and so you can get a good look at it. So the fuselage length for this model is 10 centimeters, wingspan is 9 centimeters, and it's 3 centimeters tall from the ground to the top of the vertical stabilizer. Relatively small compared to most things, but it's accurate to 1-400 scale. This model is made primarily out of die-cast metal. Starting up the review at the front of the aircraft, here we can see the nose section of the plane, and also starting up the review with my neighbors doing lawn work. That's lawn appliance you hear out there, so sorry for that interruption there. But starting at the front of the aircraft here, we can see the nose shape. As per usual with the NG 737, it's very good. I don't have any complaints about the nose shape. Printed detail up here looks really nice. It's incredibly detailed. You can read the Tennessee 1 title here, which is very nice. Those are very, very small letters. And the heart logo right here seems pretty well defined. I don't see any issues with printing. Very, very nice quality. As we move down the fuselage, here we can see the 3 stars of the Tennessee flag. Looks pretty good. There is no alignment issues, nor is the applied paint here too thick or anything like that. Very good overall. This has been a very high quality model. Same can be said for the rest of the fuselage. There's not really that much to cover except for this white and blue section back here as well. No complaints. I noticed no issues with paint application, printed details, or shapes in any way. Here's the vertical stabilizer. I don't see any issues on the vertical stabilizer. Shape looks pretty good. The back corner here looks a little bit round for what NG usually does. I guess the shape was a little bit off. And there was a bit of a paint application issue right here at the front tip of the vertical stabilizer. I can see a little bit of red paint kind of bleeding through the silver paint here. So paint application on this example was, I had a little bit of an issue here on the vertical stabilizer, but it still looks good regardless. And then the flag here, you can kind of see that the stars it's only 16 stars instead of the 50, but it is really small, so in their defense it is a small logo, so it's hard to print. But usually I see maybe a little more stars than that American flag. That's a very small nitpick, by the way. I'm just being picky. Here's the other side of the aircraft. Everything that I've said about the left side can be said about the right side here. Really no complaints on the fuselage. The vertical stabilizer on the right side looks a little bit better. Those imperfections that I pointed out earlier, those are relatively minor issues, so I really won't complain all that much. But so far, so good. It's been pretty impressive so far. Moving on to the wings, here is a view at the top of the left wing. Plenty of printed detail to go around, including this section here, which, to my knowledge, this section is a little bit smaller, or there's a section of black printed detail here that's missing on Southwest planes, which is accurate. Looks very good. Molded detail is very clearly defined and easy to see, which looks fantastic. Here you can see it on the control surfaces here in the rear section of the wing. Silver paint on the forward slats looks very good. No complaints at all. I'm very impressed. The bottom of the wing doesn't have has any printed detail. Actually, doesn't have any printed detail, but it still has painted and molded detail, all of which looks good. And the flap fairings here are painted red like on the real model as well, or in the real plane as well, which is very nice. The split scimitar tips These are slightly larger than they're supposed to be. That's a very small imperfection though. Shape on this was a bit odd. The transition from the winglet itself to the sharp end of the scimitar tip on the left scimitar here is a bit less defined, a bit less curved than it should be. Same applies for the bottom scimitar right here. And it's these bottom scimitars that are just a little bit big. The winglet here looks fine. On the right side, though, they are the proper shape of the mold, and this looks pretty good. So far, I've only found some small imperfections here and there. Moving to the rear section of the aircraft, here we can see the horizontal stabilizers. These look pretty good. There's no printed detail on them, but there is the silver paint on the leading edge, and then the molded detail of the control surfaces. These look pretty good. Don't notice anything off about them. Bottom of the plane here, you can see the tail skid is painted white, and there appears to be a bit of a paint chip on there. It's a very small one, but there is a paint, and my camera won't focus. There we go. Small one there. Aside from that, everything looks pretty good. Here you can see the APU access doors are printed as well, which looks pretty nice. The APU itself is just a painted detail right here. There's no black paint to show any exhaust hole or anything. We have found our first major paint application issue. There is a unexplained red spot right here. That's not supposed to be there. I guess some of the blue paint chipped off from the red base coat and it exposed the red base coat. So yeah, I never noticed that issue. Moving on to the engines, as per usual with NG's 737 family, the engines are pretty solid. You can see a very nice selection of printed detail at the bottom there. The transition from the red to the white to the blue, it's kind of rough. You can see some part of it got alignment issues here. Fan blades look pretty good. Here's what they look like. They're pretty nice. But from the side, the colors look pretty good. It aligns with the logo too, which is fantastic. That's a very nice touch. And these little, I'm not sure, these arrow surfaces here, these are painted white on both sides, which is very nice. Here's the right engine, by the way. The right engine doesn't appear to have any alignment issues other than the little spot that I noticed there. Given that this little spot here is a gray dot on this side and it looks kind of more like an issue on this side, that might actually be a printed detail. I really can't tell for sure. As for the exhausts, here's the exhaust nozzles, by the way. They look pretty good as well. They're painted a dark metallic silver. With respect to aerial features, this model has antennas and sat domes. There are two antennas on the top of the aircraft, a large one at the center of the fuselage and a small one right by the vertical stabilizer, and one sat dome here at the top of the plane. Everything looks pretty good. Their alignment looks good. The sat dome is off to the right side of the aircraft. Recently, I've been told some aircraft actually have the sat dome leaning to the right or left side of the aircraft. However, I don't believe Southwest does, so this is a bit of a manufacturing error. Hard to see, but it's still an issue that I notice. Aside from that, I haven't heard or seen any issues with the application of the antennas, so I'm going to assume quality control went well with those. At the bottom of the aircraft, we have three large antennas like the one at the top center fuselage. There's one here, here, and here. These look pretty good. Alignment looks pretty good. Application looks solid overall. I don't notice any issues with them. So aerial features with this model were very nice. As to the landing gear, the landing gears are very nicely detailed with the outside. Oh, the outsides here are not painted red like I originally thought. Neither are the outside rims. I'm not sure if that's accurate to the airplane or not, but I'd imagine that they did paint the cover here red on the real thing. So don't quote me on that, but if that is an issue, please comment that down below. Aside from that, the wheels roll very smoothly. They're made out of rubber, and that's very nice. Nose gear looks pretty good as per usual. No complaints here, and it does roll very smoothly as well. So that concludes my review. Now time for my personal opinion and recommendation. This model's pretty solid. Making this review, I found a few more issues with it than I had previously found because I thought before that it was almost perfect, but it's not. No model is ever going to be perfect in my eyes. I'll always find some sort of imperfection, but it's still a pretty solid model. And from what I've seen online and talking with other model collectors, quality control on this one was pretty solid. So that leads to my recommendation. Yes, I recommend this to other collectors. Just make sure if you do have a chance, look at it to look for any issues like the ones that I spotted on my example here, and you'll be good to go. Regardless, it's still an amazing model, an amazing mold, and I highly doubt anyone's going to surpass it anytime soon. So yeah, go for it if you can. This thing, to my knowledge, is selling out pretty quick, so grab them while you can. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Finally, I'm getting around to making these model reviews. I've got 3 more scheduled in the near future, plus any additional requests that I may receive. And after that, we'll see where things go. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See you later.